We're at a location today straddling the Butler County-Allegheny County line, a place called Soergel's Orchards. It's not just an apple orchard, although it was from the very beginning back in the 1850s. It's much more than that. Let's step inside and find out more about what's here at Soergel's. Randy Soergel is a fifth-generation Soergel in this business. Randy, I think some people may not realize the extent of Soergel's orchards. They think it may be just a bunch of apple trees. What's out here?
Larry, there's so many things to do, and people think of us as seasonal, and we're open all year round, and that's really important for people to realize. We have a garden center. We have a home accent center. Now, the home accent is for decorating your house with. You know, a lot of women like to look in there. We have a bakery, and a deli. You can come and get a sandwich, get lunch meat, any of that kind of stuff. We have a wine shop. That is from Pennsylvania wines from Erie. Arrowhead Winery is what that is. We actually have Arsenal cider here on evenings, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday evenings till 9. And what they do is they take our cider and make hard cider out of it, and you can get 8 or 9 different varieties of hard cider in the evening. So that's a really neat thing that we've got going on too. We've got all our fruits and vegetables. We have the gluten-free store. We have a gift barn. So we've got so many different things that it's just, you can come and browse and do anything any time of the year.
Now, people spend a lot of time here because of all the different facilities. But let's talk about when you first got into the business. This business goes back to the 1850s.
Yes.
And so you're the fifth generation. When you were growing up and going to high school and maybe thinking about going to college, was there some pressure for you to come into the family business?
Absolutely not. I think that's probably a reason for our success, is my parents were very good at letting us do what we wanted to do. There was no pressure as to, hey, you're going to do it my way or anything like that. We basically took and did everything that we wanted to do with their support. So it happened that the first part of the years in the 60s or so, we did a lot of truck farming. In other words, we would grow the produce and then we would take it down to Pittsburgh. Well, then we decided to get into retail. And with the retail, what we did, my parents actually, when I was 12 years old, sat us down in the living room and said, hey, do you guys want to go into this? Because we'll invest everything we've got into it. Or do you not want to, and we'll sell the place or do whatever? And we said, hey, we'll go into it, and this is what we've got now. So when it came to me, when I was growing up, I had more interest in plants, and I had a little greenhouse made out of the windows from Franklin Elementary School is what we did. And when I graduated from college, I wanted to go build a greenhouse. My parents co-signed the loan, and then basically gave me the power to start the garden center, the landscaping, and all the home accents in that part of the business.
Did you study agriculture at Penn State?
Yeah, I have a degree from Penn State in horticulture.
When you first started this, of course, you had no idea whether it was going to be acceptable because it was a whole new concept for Soergel's. What were the first days and years like?
They were fun because you were trying things that you didn't know. It wasn't something that was an experiment. You put it in to see if it worked. You grew things to see if they worked. So everything keeps changing. Everything is exciting. Everything, and of course, you always have failures, and you just regroup and go from there. And the staff that we've worked with over the years has been phenomenal. I've loved working with them, and that's really a key to a lot of the stuff that we do.
Now, this is an orchard to start with, over about 450 acres, covering parts of northern Allegheny County and southern Butler County. Is the orchard still in operation the way it was a couple of hundred years ago?
It is probably bigger than then. As far as that, we did a lot of truck farming, and the farm was, we're now more commercial, more production than what we had back then.
Is this strictly a retail operation?
No, we do wholesale some cider, but most of the products that we grow, we can sell right through here.
What are the areas that are most popular?
Definitely our sweet corn, the produce and stuff in the summertime. Naturally, the fall festivals are really what's the most popular. That's where our biggest attraction is, to bring kids, educate them. We have school tours going on in the fall, and they're phenomenal because they're so educational. There's like 5 or 6 different stops. They see the cider press, and they talk about apples, why apples turn red. So it's a good education.
I understand your brother Reed is involved with a farming operation here?
Yeah, Reed takes and does most of the growing. He and my nephew Adam are the ones in charge of the field work, and they actually produce the products. We do grow a lot of, we have a lot of land in Butler County where we do a lot of the growing of the corn and the pumpkins and everything grow in Butler, and then we bring them down to this farm.
But I understand he's involved with a certain kind of bug killing operation.
We're very up on the integrated pest management and something called mating disruption. And that's kind of neat that we can stop using so many chemicals by using technology. We actually take a pheromone and put it in the orchard, and it keeps the insects from coming and mating, and so it doesn't cause disease.
So you don't have to use the regular commercial pesticides.
No, we don't. We do a lot of. We put a lot of information into a computer that gives us the life cycle of the insect and whether it's going to go ahead and cause damage or not. And that way, we don't have to spray.
Well, Randy, you look like a happy man working in the family business, and the family business seems to be working. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Larry.
So a sixth generation Soergel is Amy Soergel. Amy, when you first came into the business, was that something the family expected you to do, or was it really on your own?
It was really on my own. I had been diagnosed with celiac disease, and they decided that maybe this was something I could start a store getting gluten-free foods for other people to enjoy on the farm.
So celiac disease requires a special diet?
It does, yes, totally 100% gluten-free diet.
So you started a whole store. Now, this is something that you needed. Are there many other people around this part of the country that need gluten-free items?
We find a lot of people have gluten-free. Maybe it's not that they're celiac, but they choose to remove gluten from their diet for one diagnosis or another, or they just decide they can feel better if they're off of gluten.
So naturally, Soergel's, which is the building we're in front of, has gluten-free and other kind of dietary food. Explain what you have.
Yes, we not 100% gluten-free, but we do probably 85 to 90% gluten-free. We also focus on peanut-free, allergen-free, egg-free, vegan, vegetarian, paleo. A lot of the diet trends, we do follow the trends and what people are looking for, but our main focus is gluten-free for sure.
Now, you have a master's degree from Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh. You have an undergraduate degree from Johns Hopkins University. Does that all tie in with what you're doing now?
I studied nutritional epidemiology for years. I do have a degree from Hopkins and from Pitt. It does. There is a correlation between foods and how ingredients in foods react in your body. Unfortunately, I don't do much of that right now, but there is a whole tie. I've always been interested in this industry. I've always loved watching it grow and change, and I think that there's a big tie-in between those.
People are so confused about all of this talk about diet. Everywhere you turn, television, radio, newspapers, you hear stories about something that's good for you. How do people know what's good for them?
It's very difficult. I get that question a lot, and I think that doing your research, finding, what fits for you, what works for you, I can't say there's one thing that is specifically better than another, but it can be very confusing and overwhelming. There's always another article that's out. There's another paper or a commercial or advertisement saying that this is the next best thing. I recommend people just do their research and find out what works best for them.
Where would they find the research?
There's a lot online. There's a lot of books. There's a lot of podcasts. There's a lot of things even digitally that you can do your research and just find what resonates with you.
Now, there are some things out there that might be harmful. We keep hearing about the Food and Drug Administration finding occasionally that there's something that people shouldn't take. How would somebody differentiate between what's good and what's not so good?
Find out what works for you. I know there's different ingredients that some people are for and different people are against. And when it comes down to it, if you have a clean diet, fruits and vegetables, lean meats, proteins, good quality ingredients, I think that's where you're safest. What you do, everything in moderation, I think is really the key.
Do people come here from distances, here to Soergel's special food store?
Yes, we have people travel everywhere from Ohio to West Virginia, middle of the state. A lot of people from different parts of the state and the tri-state area.
Why would they come here? Aren't there other places nearer where they are?
I focus a lot on independent companies. So I buy a lot of small lines that you can only find maybe online. You don't have to buy a case of them. You can buy one or two, save on shipping. So I really focus on those sort of things that people find, a great selection here.
Does it cost a great deal of money? Can everyone afford these kind of foods?
Yes, I think that this is very affordable when managed and when planned for and when looked at, so that you don't have to put all of your budget to one type of food. When you spread it out and you're planned for it, I think it can be very affordable.
Well, lots of people want to know a great deal more, and we can't cover that today here on this program. Is there a website they can look at?
Absolutely. www.soergels.com. You can also follow us on Facebook. You can find a link to Naturally Soergels on our main page website, and I'd recommend my email's on there. Feel free to email me, contact me. I love to talk to people about products and different things that they're looking for.
Amy, thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Now let's talk with another generation of Soergel. Now, Gene Soergel here is part of the fourth generation of Soergels in this Soergel orchard and the Soergel operation. What's the first thing you remember when you first met your husband, who was a Soergel, about the Soergel orchards?
Well, the first thing I remember is him taking me out here because I was from Millville, which was not very close, and he brought me out here to meet his family, and that was the first thing that I knew anything about orchards.
All it was then was orchards. There were no shops, there were no stores.
No stores, nothing, just orchards, because they wholesaled most of the apples and also took them into the Pittsburgh night market down on the north side.
Compared to the way it is today, it was a pretty simple operation, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. Sometimes I wish we could go back.
Did you ever start participating in the business?
From the very beginning, he put me to work right away.
Doing what?
Well, just going with him to the night market, and I didn't actually go out and pick any apples for him, but I kept the records for him and went to the night market and helped to sell. And then eventually we put up a little stand on the corner of 910 and Brand School Road. And when we did that, then I was involved because I had to pack the apples to put them out. And by that time we had some children, and my 10-year-old daughter manned the stand.
In those days, was it considered a really big business the way Soergel's is today?
No. We were just one of the farmers around here. It wasn't considered a big business at all.
Down in Middlevale, I don't imagine you did much farming down there. Was it a lot different for you?
Very different for me. I was never involved at all with anything like this.
When did this changes started taking place where Soergel's orchards became much more than just orchards?
Well, we started to grow strawberries shortly after that, and then in 1973, when the boys were in college, we decided to build a bigger market, because in the wintertime we would have the apples in our garage, and people would come to our garage and buy the apples out of our garage. And then when we moved down into the farmhouse, we had apples in one of the sheds, and they would ring a bell and I'd go down and sell them their apples. So then we decided to put up a bigger market. We asked the boys, are you going to stay, or what are you going to do? And they said, yeah, we want to stay. So then we decided to build the market for when they came out of college for them to start taking over.
So this all started gradually. There was no master plan back in the early 1800s about what would happen in the 1900s or the 2000s. It just came gradually.
It just came gradually, yes. Mm-hmm.
Were you surprised at the growth over the years?
I guess because it happened so gradually, it didn't surprise me. When I think back now, I think, how did it ever happen? You know, but no, I never thought about it at all that way.
What part of the business that's out here now at Soergel's surprises you the most? In other words, something that's part of the operation that maybe you never thought would be part of the operation?
Well, just the whole thing itself is surprises me. You know, there's just so many people, no matter where I go, if they hear my name, they say, oh, I love that place. And that means a lot to me.
Gene, it's been good talking with you. Thanks so much for having us out.
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for being here.
So as you've seen today, Soergel's Orchards is much more than just an apple orchard. There's so much more to see and so much more to enjoy. I'm Larry Berg. We'll see you next time on Faces and Places.